Good morning.
Morning. I did say your last name right, didn't I?
You did. In fact, my name is mispronounced all the time. It's Dave Legasse, but if people vote for me, they can call me anything they want.
Okay. Well, it's good seeing you, Dave. All right.
Good seeing you. Thank you for this opportunity. I think it's awesome that you folks have put this together, and I've actually gone through I've listened to everybody so far. So if anyone sits through this whole thing, I think they deserve some kind of an award. It's a lot to take in, but it is probably the last chance people will have this opportunity before Tuesday.
That's right. Well, Ruthie gets the award, gets her last name, so the W, right? So she laughed. All right, so in 2 minutes or less, give us a brief synopsis of who you are and what you do in your spare time.
Oh, you'll have to define spare time for me, because that term is not familiar. I don't have a lot of spare time. I use up every minute of the day doing something. Fortunately, I enjoy what I do. But most people would know me if they know my wife and I as the owners of the Salt Table. We started the company 12 years ago. We opened our factory and production and corporate office in Pooler. Pooler has been and hopefully will continue to be a small business friendly community, and that's why we're here. But we've stores all over the coast, all the way down to Jekyll Island at the airport in Savannah. We have an online business that serve about 40,000 customers over the years. So we're very happy in that role. And all I can say, it's a retirement idea that got terribly out of control. So if anybody can understand that. So, but I think my spare time actually has been used mostly as a volunteer and getting involved in other organizations. And I tend to rise to the top in terms of leadership in those organizations. Most recently, I was chairman of the Georgia Grown Commodity Commission, which is the commission is set by the Georgia legislature to promote local food products, timber and cotton, those that are grown and those that are produced in factories. Also, I was chairman of Visit Savannah. These ran right up to COVID. I stepped away from that. Prior to that, and since I've been in Georgia, I moved here 23 years ago, but I was president of the Rotary Club in Savannah, Savannah West, a member of 2 HOAs, which I am currently. I'm president of the Pula Plaza shopping center here on Highway 80. I'm a founding board member of the Savannah Classical Academy and a few other things. So that's what I've done.
Very good. Okay. And tell us a little bit about your experience in politics and qualifications for this position.
Well, I kind of led into that already with my involvement with the Georgia Grown Commodity Commission. That involved, and also other organizations where I was involved in trade missions internationally. The most recent was with the President of Ireland in Dublin, Ireland, trying with him personally, promoting the products of Georgia, and they were promoting the products of Ireland. We have a long, huge history with the Irish that started back during the 1800s, during the famine. Also the founding board member of the Savannah Classical Academy, charter school in Chatham County, serving Chatham County, first corporate sponsor of the Savannah Voice Festival, which started 12 years ago. We've been promoting many projects here. One recent one was World War II music held over at the Mighty Eighth Museum, which was fabulous. It was fantastic. That was this year, and the Salt Table sponsored that. I've been in senior positions in churches, including a church in New Hampshire where I was a senior person there.
Okay. And moving on, what do you think are the top 2 or 3 skills that a good Pooler council member should have?
Well, leadership is a big deal. Having a successful track record in leadership, which I have. I think the most important part of leadership is empathy, listening, and willingness to understand the positions of others, and choosing wisely. For example, I ran this campaign as an independent, but more recently, I've come to adopt sort of a slate of my own, and that involves Karen Williams, Aaron Higgins, Michael Carpenter, Tom Hutchinson, Mary Beth Lindler, and myself. And I think that's important when looking at that, because some of those folks have already been serving on the council in one form or another, and I think that will give some continuity. But I think you have to have like-minded people that are looking at the future and trying not to let the last 20% of the city go and further some of the problems we have now that we're currently dealing with.
Okay. And if you're elected and we're sitting here 4 years from now and you're reflecting back on some of the accomplishments that you're most proud of in the previous 4 years, tell me a little bit about what those look like.
Well, I think I would bring back the voice to the people here, the citizens. I think they've lost their voice. Part of that, I think, goes back to the question you've been asking about term limits. I think people, when they've been in office long, they tend to forget who works for who. And I think that is showing itself in this city, and that's why I'm endorsing the people I am. I think that the biggest single problem, we've heard it already several times this morning, is that our city ordinance, our city charter, and the master plans are all woefully out of date. The city is obligated to fulfill requests if the other parties legally do present them. But the rules are so antiquated that they don't deal with the problems that we're now facing. Lastly, we've been missing out on things. This city has no hospital. It has no emergency room, has no high school. There's no high school in the city of Pooler. And the issue of green space, I'll just define that as a place where families can enjoy themselves in many different ways.
Okay. Excuse me. What are your top 3 priorities for small business owners in Pooler?
Yeah, to me, it's having a business-friendly environment for small business. And I think Pooler has that now. I think there should be zones for small business. And we've heard a little bit about that. I agree with those ideas. I think the buffers, however, should be wider, with wider setbacks from the older communities. Historic areas of Pooler are being squeezed out. And that's one of the concerns I have about this master plan for Highway 80. And a lot of those folks have lived there comfortably for decades, and now all of a sudden they have commercial property sitting literally looking down in their backyards, or soon to be, and that concerns me. I like the idea of a small business commission where we could have leaders in the community, in the business community, giving advice and ideas to the city council. Okay.
And same question, but what are your top 3 priorities for homeowners in Pooler?
Well, taxes is a really big one. We're talking about inflation today, and a lot of the costs of being alive, to being a citizen in a place like this. And it's not enough to say we lowered the millage rate, because if the property values continue to go up, which they have, and inflation goes up, a lower millage rate may not result in lower taxes, and that's proven out. Everyone's paying more taxes today than they ever have. And I think we have to really look at the bigger picture on that and see what other ways we can help the homeowners by reducing taxes even more. More benefits to the people, high school, hospital, green space, better pay to the police and first responders. Those are the kinds of things that will give us, I think, a more stable workforce of the police and the first responders, fire department, and so on.
And we talked a little bit about traffic and development today. What is your stance on development and the traffic concerns in Pooler?
Well, we can't keep adding hundreds of homes, all spilling out onto the same roads, and expect things to improve. I like the idea of a moratorium, slowing things down a little bit. And I think we have to be really careful. It's frustrating to me, and I'm a very positive person. Anyone knows me will tell you that. But we've had 3 of the people running right now for mayor and city council. Between them have 62 years on that council. And with that, they shouldn't be saying, oh, we have these great ideas to fix the problems. Those problems came about by decisions that were made decades ago. And I think this is a strong argument for term limits as well.
Okay. And that's the next question. What is your stance on instituting term limits?
I have to tell you, in all honesty, I was always against it. I always felt that if people wanted to run and the public wanted to vote them in, that should be part of what should happen. What I see in Pooler these days is an argument in favor of term limits. I think that there's been a loss on the part of some of the leaders of this community on what their job is and who serves who. And there's been so many backroom deals and issues like that I think things have to become a lot more public and transparent than they have been, and allow people to attend a city council meeting and be able to speak. I've attended every meeting since spring, just so I could be up to speed, and there's a lot to learn, of course. But I've yet to see anyone speak about anything unless it was a public hearing on a variance or something like that. They're just not there. They're not given that opportunity.
Okay. And how about staggered terms?
Yeah, nobody's against that. That is a really good idea. It will. I think it was Rebecca Benton mentioned that about Garden City's method. Not sure if they're the ones that do it, but yeah, I think the idea would be good to have a 2-year term and a 4-year term, and then that would create a staggered situation. So there is a continuity of leadership, and I do feel that probably 12 years would be plenty of time for people to get their act together and hopefully achieve something in that time.
Okay. And historic downtown Pooler and the Main Street master plan, what are your views on that?
Well, the idea of having a family-friendly area when there are freight trucks zooming down that road going at full force, in some places as many 7 lanes across, down by Piggly Wiggly, for example, to get into that, what they call a park, it's not accessible. There's no public parking there to get into the park, which I think that is part of the master plan, that park. You have to park in a private parking area and cross 7 lanes of traffic to get to it. To me, that plan needs a lot more work, and I think that hopefully something can be done to make our downtown more attractive and accessible.
What have I not asked you, Dave, that I should have asked you?
I think I've covered it all. I think that we have some really excellent people that are running. I hope that people will understand that I'm a team player. I have a successful track record in many different areas, and I think that this would be an opportunity for people to check out the various websites, including mine, daveforpooler.com. I hope they go and look at that, and they'll get a lot more background on why I feel I'm an excellent candidate for this role.
Okay. And then you've touched on a little bit, why should a voter vote for you in 1 minute or less?
Yeah, well, I think I've covered that. I've had a lot of experience in a lot of different roles in my life. Been in business, have been self-employed since I was 23, so figure that one out. And I've done so successfully in my life, and I enjoy serving the public.